What's up guys? So for today's video, I'm going to be going over the 9 best stocks that you can buy right now, and you definitely don't want to miss out on these stocks. And I do think these stocks are very undervalued and have the potential to grow a lot in the future, and so if you buy them now, you could potentially make a lot of money. And I have been lucky enough to invest in many undervalued stocks and also some great dividend stocks, which made my portfolio grow to over $300,000 in just 2 years. But anyways, let's get right into it, and just keep in mind everything I share in this video is my own opinion. So let's start off with one of my favorite stocks to buy right now, which is JP Morgan Chase, and it's currently trading at $156. So this is actually one of the largest banks in America, and I have been adding so much of this one to my stock portfolio because I do think it's undervalued at the moment and there's so much growth potential for the future, especially because bank interest income is expected to grow in 2021, and many stock analysts predict that it's going to hit over $200 in the near future, and I agree. But regardless, you can't go wrong with bank stocks because they're bound to increase every single year, and this one actually pays a really good dividend, which is 2.3%. And many of you know I really love the Canadian bank stocks, and so I highly recommend looking into those ones as well, especially if you do want growth and good dividends. Now the next stock I'm buying right now is Air Canada, and this is Canada's largest airline, and I can promise you it's probably not going anywhere, and it's currently trading at $25.89. And it doesn't matter if you live in the US or anywhere else in the world, you can still buy this stock. But one of the reasons I think this has massive growth potential is because obviously the world is opening up again and people are probably going to start traveling more, and because of that, of course, the entire airline industry should boom, especially Air Canada, because it actually hasn't recovered from the pandemic. As you can see, it's only at $25 right now, but it used to be $50 back in 2019, so I definitely think the stock is going to reach over $40 in the near future, which is why I'm buying a lot of it right now. So if you're patient and you're willing to hold the Air Canada stock long term, and you also want some exposure to the airline industry, I definitely recommend looking into this stock. Now the next stock I love and I'm buying right now is PayPal, and it's currently trading at $290. And you can kind of think of PayPal as a bank because it basically allows you to send and receive money. And because we're headed to a cashless society, I do think PayPal is going to continue to grow with this trend. And honestly, so many people use PayPal. I currently use it for all of my businesses. And a cool thing about PayPal as well is it owns some of the biggest companies like Honey, Venmo, and Braintree. So I definitely recommend looking into PayPal. I think it has so much growth potential. Now the next stock that I love that I'm buying a lot of is Pepsi. This is currently trading at $148.91. And Pepsi is huge in the beverage industry. I honestly don't see it going anywhere, and if you want something that's more safe and reliable, I highly recommend looking into Pepsi. And it's up 40% in the past 5 years, which honestly is really good. And on top of that, it's a great dividend stock that pays a 2.9 dividend. And Pepsi's competition, which is Coca-Cola, also pays a really good dividend and is also a great stock, so I also recommend looking into that one. And if you wanted to get a free stock worth up to $250, which could potentially be Pepsi, you can click the link in the description of the video where it says free stock. And now the next step is you just have to create a free account, and that's basically it. Then you get to claim your free stock worth up to $250. Now the next stock which I'm currently buying is Alibaba. It's currently trading at $217.75. And Alibaba is basically the Chinese version of Amazon. And it also is one of the largest e-commerce marketplaces in the world. And I also like investing in it because most of my money is in American and Canadian companies, and so it's always nice to diversify. But I definitely think Alibaba is so undervalued right now, especially if you look at the all-time highs and if you compare it to its competitors like Amazon. Amazon is trading at a much higher valuation than Alibaba, but of course when investing in Chinese companies there are some risks, and so I definitely recommend looking into them before you invest in it, just to make sure that it's something you're comfortable with. Also, before we do continue on to the next stock pick, I just want to say that I have a free Discord group chat where we talk about stocks, so if you want to join that, I'll leave a link in the description. And for any beginners watching this that just want some extra guidance on how to invest in the stock market and learn how I grew my portfolio from literally $500 to over $300,000, I do have a stock market course that teaches you everything, and so I'll leave a link in the description to that if you want to check it out. Now the next stock I'm buying right now, which is also part of the travel industry, is Airbnb, and it's currently trading at $150. And I gotta say, Airbnb is probably one of my favorite stocks for the long term. And how the Airbnb business model works is it basically allows people to rent out their house, apartment, or even just a room in their house to someone who wants to travel to that destination. And I think the business model is so great because both parties benefit from it. So if you're someone that wants to travel somewhere, you can use Airbnb because it's really convenient, and also it is a lot cheaper than hotels most of the time. And it also allows anyone to rent out their house or a spare bedroom and make an extra income. And next year I am going gonna leave this house and move somewhere else, and so I do plan on maybe making this an Airbnb or a rental, and so having that Airbnb option is honestly really nice. So if you believe in the Airbnb business model, I don't see why you wouldn't want to invest in it, but of course some people are going to say that it is overvalued at this moment, but I disagree. I honestly think that Airbnb is going to continue to grow because right now the travel industry is recovering and more people are going to start using Airbnb, and so I don't see how it's going to go downhill from here. But in all honesty, Airbnb is still a newer company and they're making so many more advancements and changes, and I feel like they're just growing so much, and so I don't see how the stock's going to be a bad investment in my opinion, so I definitely recommend you look into it. Now the next stock that I think has massive potential is Adobe, and it's currently trading at $593. And Adobe is basically a computer software company behind some of the best softwares like Photoshop and Premiere. And one of the main reasons why I think Adobe is going to grow so much in the future is because there's so many more influencers right now. For example, there's so many more influencers on TikTok and YouTube and other social media platforms, and because of this rise in demand, I think that a lot of these people are using Adobe. For example, I use it all the time for my YouTube and my TikTok and all that stuff, and so as long as more people see this as an actual career path that they can take, I only see this company growing as more people start to use it. But not only do TikTok and YouTube influencers use Adobe, so do all businesses. Probably a business that you worked for uses it. And Adobe recently beat their earnings, which is why the stock price shot up, but I probably would wait for a little pullback before you buy it sometime this July. But honestly, long term, the price is not going to matter because I think it's going to grow so much. Now the next stock, which I think is so underrated and I love it and always buy it, is TD Bank. And it's currently trading at $70.59. So TD Bank is one of the biggest banks in Canada, and it also is a bank in the United States. But because TD is new to the United States, I think there's so much more growth potential for it, and I think it's going to become a lot bigger in the US. But honestly, I think it is a great long-term hold, and it also pays a really good dividend, over 3%, so you can't go wrong with that. You get both growth and dividend, which is why I really like it. And TD has been paying their dividends for over 100 years, so you can always count on them. So definitely recommend looking into this stock. Now the next investment, which is probably one of my favorite ones, is VU. It's currently trading at $398.75. And this isn't actually an individual stock, it's called an index fund ETF. And basically with an index fund ETF, it's basically just buying a group of stocks combined in one. For example, VU is invested in 500 different US companies, and so if you buy one share of VU, you're basically buying a teeny piece of 500 companies. And I love this because you get exposure to different sectors in the stock market. So this is great for someone who just wants a safer investment that's really easy. You can buy it without really any thought. And I invest in VU every single month. It doesn't matter if the stock market is high or low, because long term the price doesn't matter anyway, because I am most likely going to get a 7 to 10% return on my investment every single year in the long run. So I definitely recommend looking into index fund ETFs if you haven't already. And some of my favorites are also VTI and SPY. And if you want more videos from me about stocks, I'm gonna link a video here that talks about dividend stocks and another video here that just talks about ways you can make money. But that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one.